Feeling melancholic, miffed, malcontented, crushed by an oddly familiar sense of impending doom that you just can't seem to shake to the relentless cries of, "He's old," but never, "The other one's a convicted rapist," make it impossible for you to find a news story you can read without wanting to scream? Antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, Chiba, Crystal, Caballo, Clicker, cartwheels, circles, and chirophilia. Nothing seems to help. Maybe you should ask your local Kaliach about Wyquil from April Pharmaceuticals. Independent studies show that Wyquil's unique properties deaden the brain's ability to give a steaming snow squirt about the primaries, woke panic, broflakes, police malfeasance, your recklessly overdue car payment, Easter potluck with your racist uncle, that lump in your neck that keeps getting bigger, and much, much more. Side effects may include
Man-Bear Scat, Chipotle Squirts, Mephistopheles, Whistletoe, Dr. Spew, Existential Head, Spleen Lantern, 5 o'clock Maddow, Cooking Erections, Barnyard Howl, Chest Burster United, UF Hose, Hepatitis Not the Bees, Dolphin Pubes, Multipurpose Inflammation, Rodeo Frowns, Yak and Yakster, Skate Pandas, Beauty and the Yeast Infection, Ida the Bowel Lady, Socioeconomic Disparity.
So if you're ready to smell the glove, to hear tapioca pudding tap and ioka, to experience big flugelhorn energy, or to just be yourself again, there's Wyquil. When your dealer no longer resells stolen don't give a fuck, why not try Wyquil from April Pharmaceuticals? Recorded in front of a live studio audience with a real live host in Round Rock, Texas. It's the What's Update with Xander IMDb.
Season 5.
Not made by robots.
Welcome to the What's Update. I'm Xander IMDb. Here's what happened. In response to the Trumpster fire's recent ramble encouraging Russia to attack NATO allies for not paying their bills, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean, President Biden made an official statement denouncing his actions. Uncle Joe clapped back saying, quote, "For God's sake, it's dumb, it's shameful, it's dangerous, it's un-American." Coincidentally, dumb, shameful, dangerous, and un-American was the initial slogan for Trump's 2024 re-election campaign, but it was scrapped when it didn't fit on the hats. In other election news, Nikki Haley got swatted, and not in a fun way.
You mean like spanking?
Get your mind out of the gutter.
You wrote the joke.
Fool. According to a Reuters report, police officers responded to a false 911 call by a man claiming he had shot a woman and planned to shoot himself, giving Haley's Kiowa Island, South Carolina home as the address. Donald Trump's chief Republican rival wasn't home at the time, but the arriving officers pointed their weapons at Haley's parents, who are, to be clear, about 9 decades old. Not combined, each. Now, luckily, no one was injured, but there have been an increasing number of swatting incidents aimed at allies and enemies of the Tangerine toddler ahead of the 2024 election. According to inside sources, this tactic emerged after both refrigerator functionality inquiries and information requests for Michael Roch, Hugh Jazz, and Amanda Hugginkiss failed to achieve their political goals. Also, while on the campaign trail, Trump took a more figurative shot at Haley, asking where her husband was and why wasn't he campaigning with her, asking, "What happened to her husband? Where is she? He's gone." The answer should have been easy for anyone not ravaged by dementia to ascertain. Trump knew Haley well enough to make her his United Nations ambassador. In any case, Army National Guard Major Michael Haley is currently deployed in Africa. That's right, Donnie boy, her husband is serving his country. Not like you would know anything about that.
Nope.
The real burning question here is, where's Melania?
Melanie?
All right. She's not around because she fucking hates you. Aw, buddy.
I know how she feels.
In the continuing legal misadventures of Stooge McSchmuck, Republicans are demanding that a black legal official recuse themselves from a case involving Donald Trump because of a romantic relationship. Well, yeah, they should totally recuse themselves. Not because they're black, but because that's an irrefutable conflict of interest. Wait, they're not talking about Justice Clarence's Uncle Thomas and his insurrectionist wife, Ginny? They mean Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fonnie Willis? Who gives a fuck? fuck? The DA isn't supposed to like an indicted felon. He's dismissed. Now for something a little less depressing, an Oregon resident recently contracted the bubonic plague, which health officials confirmed as their first reported case in 8 years. The disease appears to have originated in the patient's cat, likely having been bitten by infected fleas. Still, doctors are unsure how it ended up spreading to the human host, possibly through exposure to the cat's infected fluids, or from the fleas jumping from the pet to the patient. Outside investigators theorize that the cat was simply trying out a new recipe it found for bubonic biscuits. Either way, that escalated quickly, from barf under the couch to the Black Death. I guess the lesson to learn here is clean the damn litter box, Jeff. Now, luckily, modern antibiotics rendered the previously deadly plague to be only a minor issue, and the infection was caught early enough to make treatment quick and efficient. Glad we learned at least something from the start of this decade. Remember, kids, if you're feeling a bit plaguey, nip that shit in the bud.
Yep.
In sports ball adjacent news, a group called He Gets Us bought 2 expensive and splashy Super Bowl ads to promote the teachings of Jesus and unite different groups of people. Unsurprisingly, all they've done is foment hostility from the right and confusion from just about everyone else. I mean, I get it. At the Last Supper, as depicted in John 13 verses 1-13, Jesus washed his disciples' feet to show an example of the service they should do for each other. It's nice, it's kind, it teaches a good lesson. For all Gen Xers, remember when Mr. Rogers did the same thing for a black policeman? It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the ad itself, funded partially by the family behind Hobby Lobby, was fucking weird, right?
Yeah.
And it was set to a super disturbing cover of Never Tear Us Apart by NXS. Like, a foot fetish and autoerotic asphyxiation. Honestly, the whole thing made me feel like Republican Jesus was about to do something untoward towards the Umbrella Academy. But it's not great.
Watch out, Hargreave!
Poor Klaus.
Yeah. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Yeah! Yeah, buddy.
Welcome back. You know, it's a fascinating future that we live in. We've got the breadth of human knowledge at our fingertips. And we've also got the clogged rain gutter of human idiocy. And they're both on the same platforms. How convenient. Like, we have emerging artificial intelligence technology that can generate compelling information and fantastical images. Yet a sizable portion of that advanced tech is used to make cheap and disturbing porn. We have instant access to any song we could think of, ready to play in the car at the push of a button. Yet I still can't get the good versions of songs from soundtracks. Side note, why is the Zoolander version of Mod Skills not on Spotify? Like, the quote-unquote regular version just doesn't cut it.
It's not very good.
Of all the inventions in this humble bundle of Star Trek feature gadgets available to us, I'd have to say that my laptop's ad blocker is among my favorites. Alas, one overworked extension can only do so much, and it still lets a buttload of ads slide through. So, hear me out. Advertising in online spaces is getting fucking ridiculous. Whether it's the increased frequency and length on free platforms or the returning annoyance on paid ones, incessant advertising.
You'll get there.
Yeesh.
Spit it out, mammal!
It's reemerging as like a constant thorn in my side. Actually, no, the thorn in my side is too timid, too kind. It's more like when you bite your tongue really freaking hard and it gets one of those stupid little bumps on it that hurts every time you hit your teeth while you're talking. Yeah, like that.
Those suck. Oh my
It's even
God.
worse when you're like in the middle of a broadcast and that happened before.
Yeah.
It makes things a bit difficult.
Yeah.
Now, one of the biggest perpetrators of this, in my experience, has been YouTube. Their ads have always been a pain, especially when Google gets a hold of the searches we have to do for this show's research. I can't be certain where or what the algorithm thinks we're up to, but it cannot be good. No, Google monster, we're not looking to buy cheap red hats, questionable armbands, and tall shiny boots. So stop showing us ads for Fox News. And PragerU, get that shit out of here. Like, I'd be less embarrassed if I was in a public space and porn came up on my screen than if PragerU came up as an ad. It's just, it's terrible.
Sell them. You got this.
Sorry.
Okay.
The issue isn't even the content of the ads, since, well, I was muting and ignoring them anyway. The big nuisance here is the length of these fuckers.
That's what she said, Mama.
Shut up, Craig.
That's disgusting.
I walked right into it. As I was saying, when I'm watching YouTube on my TV or Switch without access to an ad blocker, I'm getting hit with 30 seconds worth of unskippable ads for 1 minute shorts. This isn't just the impatience of youth and or declining sanity talking. This is frankly a widespread issue that has to do with a recent change in YouTube's policies for smart TVs and similar devices. According to an article from Tech Radar at the tail end of last year, YouTube changed their ad setup for smart TVs from the customary method of showing the amount of time left to skip in each ad to showing the total amount of time left across all ads in the hopper. This was reportedly sold as a user-friendly improvement to meet the preferences of consumers. However, this change is also hot on the heels of YouTube cracking down on ad blocker usage, increasing the price of YouTube Premium to get rid of ads, and doing away with cheaper alternatives like Premium Lite. Also, while YouTube claimed that this system would show longer ad breaks at less frequent intervals, I can say for certain that shit ain't true. If nothing else, I'm getting longer ads before short videos and more mid-video ads on longer ones. If this were just contained to the brand new boob tube, it wouldn't mean much. I'd be willing to bet that YouTube ads are at least half the reason that ad blockers exist in the first place.
That tracks.
But this shit is occurring across nearly every streaming service in one way or another. There are two distinct patterns I've observed in rising costs for streaming: rotating access and accessibility rollbacks. First, rotating access to content is one of the more obvious cases of price gouging, but is tangentially related to the advertising problem. I'm referring to the need to purchase extensions and extra services on top of the basic services necessary to watch the content that you want. I find this happens to me most on Hulu, as it seems to be a nexus point for a lot of televised content that would have previously worked on 20th century cable TV models of advertising.
20th century, that's so rude.
Making all the extras feel old today.
I know.
Hulu's ad-supported plan costs $7.99 a month, and is laced with ads at regular intervals, much like traditional old-school television. For $17.99 a month, you can watch most of those same shows and movies without the ad breaks. But not so fast there, champ. Hulu No Ads excludes a few shows that played with the ads before and after the video. But for the low price of $89.99 a month, you can stream almost all videos from their streaming library without ads. Now, the real bullshit is in the extensions for various networks and platforms that have to piggyback off of Hulu, but still want their own money, bitch. So, if you're keeping track, Hulu's Almost plan excludes several pricey service add-ons and many broadcast network shows. For example, I'm looking for a classic episode of something fun, and suddenly I need to cough up an additional $10 a month to watch a show that was previously available as part of the cheaper ad-supported plan a few months prior. This has been further exacerbated by the onslaught of individual streaming services for traditional networks, like Peacock or Paramount Plus, that occasionally overlap with larger platforms like Hulu, but have different policies or extra ads that interfere with the service I was already using. Feels like I'm having to make one of those Always Sunny conspiracy corkboards just to figure out where to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, the part that really grinds my gears about this is when these changes seem to come out of nowhere. Another example, I'm a fan of the Quantum Leap Revival series. I appreciate the historical and sci-fi aspects of it. Watching it with Bridget is a hoot and a half, since she gives it the Gen X seal of approval as a fan of the original series. And we both love Mason Alexander Park.
Mason.
They're so pretty. Yeah, I said it. You're gonna sit there and tell me I'm wrong? I'm getting off track here. Anyway, I recorded and watched the first season on Hulu, dealt with the ads the old-fashioned way, and had a merry old time. Some time passes, and eventually, Season 2 starts up. I'm super ready to jump back in, only to discover it's now almost completely removed from Hulu and is now only partially on NBC.com. The interface is worse, it takes forever to get it to work on my TV, and the ad breaks now have up to 6 unskippable ads at 30 seconds to a minute each. This brings me to the second main issue with this adpocalypse. It's a rollback of expectations and practices of streaming as a whole. The main draw of streaming as a technology was centralized content, cheaper than cable fees, not dealing with long ad breaks, and flexible scheduling. You paid your money, you got the shit you wanted when and how you wanted it. Nowadays, those siren calls of lower costs and high convenience are being completely phased out. Not only is everything spread out across a multitude of streaming services and in-app extensions, but the intrusive advertising is added back in unless you pay through the nose for, you guessed it, another extension. The most recent player to belly up to the bar is Amazon Prime, which just added in-content advertisements that can only be removed with a few extra ducats a month. I get that it's expensive to run these things. I can even see the logic behind it. Amazon wants more money from the platform in exchange for the quality content that they've got. Prime Video comes with your Amazon Prime membership fee, which also just went up, by the way. They know that another subscription price increase would just further piss people off. So instead, they just indirectly increase the price for Prime Video customers by adding an inconvenience that can be removed for a small fee. It's brilliant, but also scummy as hell. I mean, how many more $500 million super yachts does Bezos need anyway?
Nobody needs a $500 million super yacht. That's
Got a tiny thin front tail.
He does look like a lizard, though. He might not have one.
Hey, that's an insult to lizards. Some of my best friends are lizards. And black mambas.
Still doesn't mean you get to say the word, Craig.
That's what she said.
I guess my point here is this. The ad problem is just gonna get worse. The companies that run these services will continue to want more cash as time goes on. The only ways to do that are to either generate more ad revenue or directly get it from the viewer in the form of membership fees. I can only see a couple of possible solutions for this. First, I know that voting with your wallet only goes so far as your next can't-miss binge watch. So, if you have the patience to deal with ads, don't shell out the money for newer extensions to get rid of them. The more cash thrown into that engine, the higher the cost of convenience rises. I recognize that an ad-free existence is worth a few extra dollars in some cases, because GB knows I threw $4 into the mix to binge Has-Been Hotel without interruption, but we've got to draw a line where we can. If you primarily watch YouTube, Twitch streams, or similar content on your computer or phone, find some decent ad blockers and see what works for you. In any case, the second I can figure out how to get an ad blocker onto my TV, I'll be watching The Mason Show, Quantum Leap, and peace. And I'm hoping all of you can do the same. We'll be right back.
Yeah!
Hey, thank you very much for watching. I know that we promised to do some more varied and frequent content for this channel, but we overpromised and underdelivered, and we apologize. Things just got in the way. As a wise man once said, life is not without its hazards. But we got some new technology and some new techniques, so we're going to try and roll out some new content at a semi-regular basis. So stay tuned and we'll see what we can do. In the meantime, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and as always, it is what it is.